Our ancestors didn't set out to leave behind confusing puzzles for us to figure out thousands of years later, even though it might feel that way sometimes. The truth is, we still don't fully understand everything they built or left behind. Across the world, mysterious objects and ancient sites continue to baffle scientists, archaeologists, and historians. In this video, we're diving into some of the strangest and most puzzling discoveries ever found. But first, if you're into archaeological finds and mysterious discoveries, you're in the right place. Let's head to North America, where on December 23, 2021, a discovery was made in Nevada and first reported on Christmas Day. Researchers announced they had uncovered a 55-foot-long creature, described as a sea monster from the Triassic period that lived about 247 million years ago. The scientists named the newly discovered creature Simba Spondylus Youngorum, describing it as a massive marine reptile with a huge jaw. It belonged to the ichthyosaur family and lived in what was once a vast ocean off the west coast of North America, an ocean called Panthalassa. This species seems to have survived what's known as the Great Dying, a mass extinction event that happened around 252 million years ago and wiped out more than 90% of life on Earth. It occurred near the end of the Permian period. The exact cause of this extinction is still unknown, but scientists hope that studying the remains of this marine creature might help us find some answers, even though it's still too early for solid conclusions. Now, we're not trying to alarm anyone, but scientists still don't fully understand the sun's behavior, which is a little unsettling, considering our planet's safety depends entirely on our star. In January 2022, researchers completed a lengthy study of ice cores from Antarctica and Greenland. Trapped within those cores was evidence of a massive solar storm that happened around 9,200 years ago. Here's the problem. According to scientists' models, the sun was supposed to have been going through a quiet phase back then, meaning a solar storm of that size shouldn't have happened. The evidence for this ancient storm comes from elevated levels of beryllium-10 and chlorine-36 found in the ice and sediment layers. If a storm like that happened today, it could wipe out global communications and pose a serious threat to air travel. What's worrying is that now, we know we can't entirely trust even our best models, and we have no way of knowing if or when another solar storm might strike. Nature gives sometimes, and takes away at others. But if you're lucky, maybe one day nature gives back what it took. That's exactly what happened to a temple in Odisha, India. Built in the 15th century to honor Lord Gopinath, one of many forms of the god Vishnu. The temple stood undisturbed for 400 years. But in the 19th century, the Mahanadi River suddenly changed course and flooded the area. Not only did it submerge the temple, it also wiped out an entire nearby town. The temple's statues were preserved and moved to a nearby temple, but the structure itself was lost. Eventually, the waters receded, and in June 2020, the temple reappeared, though badly damaged and still mostly underwater in the images. Local officials remain hopeful that the remaining water can be artificially drained and the shrine restored. If full restoration isn't possible, the Indian National Trust for Art and Cultural Heritage hopes to dismantle, relocate, and rebuild it, although that might be overly ambitious given the temple's current condition. For a long time, archaeologists wondered whether the so-called Dragon City of the Xiang Empire was just a legend. But in July 2020, they uncovered the truth in central Mongolia. Along the banks of the Orkhon River, the long-lost city was finally found. The mysterious Xiang Empire was formed by a coalition of tribes from the slopes of Eastern Europe more than 2,300 years ago. The empire lasted for nearly 400 years. It coexisted with Chinese dynasties to the east, trading and fighting with them at different times. Legend says the Dragon City was the most beautiful of its time, hidden deep in the Khangai Mountains of Mongolia. We'll never know if that was true, because today, not much is left. Archaeologists have only managed to identify the city's ancient double wall, a reservoir, and an unknown structure engraved with the phrase "Son of Heaven" written in kanji. Experts still don't know what to make of these findings, so it seems the dragon, a wall not built for war, and other ancient mysteries. For a long time, People assumed that this section of the wall was built to defend against rogue Mongol hordes. But in June 2020, that theory was debunked. A thorough survey of the wall revealed that while it may have helped fend off some nomadic raids, its main purpose was likely to monitor and control local nomadic populations, especially their massive herds. This fits with the goals of the Khitan Liao Empire, which was active in the area at the time. They wanted to extend their power by exerting control over the northern nomads. A series of 72 structures built into the wall appear to have been used as low-lying observation points, not as high towers meant to spot invading armies. So instead of being protection against Genghis Khan or any... Now let's head to Mexico, where archaeologists are buzzing over a large, intricately carved stone recently discovered in the state of Colima. The National Institute of Anthropology and History has officially registered it as a protected artifact, believing it could be an ancient stone map. The volcanic rock was ejected from the nearby Volcán de Fuego about 2,000 years ago, but the carving itself is estimated to be around 2,100 years old. The markings on the surface seem to represent water channels and small depressions that could indicate settlements or villages. In fact, remains of ancient villages have been found in locations matching those marked on the stone. Since the pre-Hispanic Colima people had no written language, this might have been their way of passing on knowledge or marking territory. Not everyone agrees. It's a debated topic. Some experts think archaeologists are just seeing what they want to see. Still, the Institute is convinced enough of its... In Vietnam, archaeologists made an impressive discovery in July 2020. While working on an environmental preservation project, they found a 9th century sandstone carving at the Cham Temple complex. The monument is beautifully preserved, and its discovery has highlighted the strong cultural links between Vietnam and ancient India. This complex is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, originally built by King Indravarman, the second of the Champa Empire. The same team also found 6 other carvings at the site, though none were as striking as this one, as well as black stone columns, red sandstone pillars, and broken statues of ancient deities. These findings suggest that there may be an undiscovered temple hidden among the others in the complex. The excavation has been massive and is still ongoing more than a year after the initial discovery. Meanwhile, in Bijela, Montenegro, archaeologists found a statue that resembles Nefertiti, but with unusual features like a blue crown and strange markings. Scans revealed that inside the statue was a highly advanced technological structure with circuits and implants, suggesting it wasn't just a statue but rather a kind of artificial being. It was dubbed the Blue Nefertari, and nearby documents referred to a guardian of star knowledge, sparking wild theories that this figure might be a messenger from the future or from another civilization altogether. The discovery made headlines and turned Montenegro into the center of an unprecedented archaeological mystery, one that hints that humanity's past might be hiding a lot more than we think. In Tuva, Russia, the Por-Bajin complex is one of the country's greatest unsolved archaeological mysteries. The name translates from Tuvan as clay house, which tells us what it's made of, but not what it was for. Located on an island in Lake Terakol, the site is a remnant of the Uyghur culture, likely built in the 8th century. When it was first found, researchers thought it was the ruins of a fortress, but later studies showed its layout was more in line with that of an ancient Chinese royal palace. Strangely, there's no evidence of human activity at the site, no traces of life or settlement, just buildings. That suggests it may have been built around 777 AD as a Manichaean temple. One local ruler, Tengri Bogu Khan, was a follower of this religion and ruled the region at that time. He was violently overthrown in a rebellion just 2 years later. After that, the complex was abandoned. A relic was later found in what had been the fortress commander's home, suggesting he might have entertained his family, or maybe just played with mice in the military compound. Some historians think it could have even been... Now, finding a Roman mosaic in Italy might not sound like a big deal until you hear where it was discovered. Under a vineyard in Negra di Valpolicella, just north of Verona, archaeologists found the floor of a massive Roman villa, hidden under soil and grapevines. What's frustrating is this discovery could have been made 100 years ago. Archaeologists found Roman artifacts in the vineyard as early as 1922, but they gave up before digging deep enough. Since the land is part of a local municipality, any further excavations require approval and compensation for landowners, which adds complexity and could prevent the villa from ever being fully uncovered. So we may never find out who thought planting a vineyard on top of a mosaic floor was a good idea in the first place. Back in London, when we go on vacation, we often buy souvenirs to remember our trips. Turns out that tradition goes way back, to ancient Rome actually. In July 2019, a one-of-a-kind iron Roman stylus or pen was found on the banks of the former Walbrook River. The pen was engraved on all four sides with a long Latin inscription that roughly translates to, "I came from the city of London to bring you a welcome gift with a sharp point so you'll remember me." I wish I could have given more, but luck and my empty purse wouldn't allow it. In simpler terms, I went to London and all I got you was this pen, the ancient version of a cheesy souvenir. Finally, in South Australia in May 2020, archaeologists visited the rock shelters of Wiri along the Murray River for the first time. What they found inside made them wish they'd gone much earlier. They discovered ancient Aboriginal rock art carved into limestone walls, along with important artifacts from frontier life. Strangely, among the engravings was a swastika, one of 188 total carvings. Only one of them, a tree motif, is definitely pre-European. The rest seem to have been created by indigenous people influenced by European visitors, settlers, and possibly even missionaries. The swastika was carved in 1932, several years before World War II. According to the archaeologist who led the excavation, this is likely the earliest known breach of indigenous cultural space in Australia, marking the first recorded act of cultural trespass and desecration by outsiders. It's a disturbing discovery but historically significant nonetheless. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any amazing finds. More jaw-dropping discoveries await in every video. Thanks for your support.